Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here. This is a video that I'm making. This isn't a response to Ravi, Assault and Battery 777, but this is just me poking fun at him in his last WWE shop in boxing. He made the fact that, who makes videos standing up anymore? I thought that, I can't go out in the Wrestle Center and make videos out there anymore, but I thought I would make a stand-up video for you guys today, and you can laugh at the fact that during this video, I have no idea what to do with my hands. Normally when I make videos, when I'm waiting to clock in to go to work or I'm on my lunch, I'm holding my phone. If I'm normally at home sitting in my chair in front of my computer, I let my computer and my laptop hold my phone for me in the little sort of clamshell deal that it makes with the laptop screens being open. Maybe I'll just keep him here in my belt loop. I've killed about a minute of this already. This video honestly isn't going to be very original. I've seen people make this video almost at least a few times a year, and there's been times that I've really been behind this video, but there's been other times when basically I thought that the people weren't giving Vince McMahon and WWE enough credit as to, this is something that he created, this is something that he's brought to the point where it is today. And WWE is, a well-built business. It is an empire in the wrestling business. It is by far the best wrestling company in the world as far as, putting on pay-per-views, putting on television, selling merchandise, doing house shows. There's a lot of things that WWE is doing very well. But definitely you can tell by looking at the stats, WWE as of right now is not putting on very good television. And I know that some people will point to the creative staff. I know that some people will point to Kevin Dunn as the director of television. I know that some people will point to Vince McMahon. And honestly, in my opinion, I'm at the point right now where I am 100% pointing the finger right at Vince McMahon, saying that it is Vince's fault that we are in the hole that we are in today. I've fought this off for a really long time, but I honestly think at this point in 2015, we are at the point that Vince McMahon needs to find the point of destination where he's going to sail off into the sunset, either move to Boca Raton. I don't care if Vince just becomes the figurehead leader of WWE. I understand that there are a lot of things that go into who is the leader of WWE, going into the stock price, seeing how there are real businessmen in the world that are investing into WWE that know nothing about professional wrestling other than Vince McMahon is the person that they are investing into, thinking that he is going to be able to push this empire farther. At this point, honestly, WWE having their own WWE network as a online network where you can go on there and you can watch the live stream, or you can have the on-demand section. Honestly, in my opinion, as far as a wrestling company, I think WWE is almost as far as it can go in this technological era. I mean, they've got the internet pretty much all locked up. They killed wrestling with social media. You can turn on your television and watch WWE 24 hours a day if that's something that you really need to do. I think that he has pushed this company as far as he can go, and I honestly don't want to be very negative on Vince. Other than the fact that I want to bring up the fact that I just think at Vince's age, he is not as connected with what is, I'll even say at my age now, I'm not even 100% connected with what is hip and what is cool in the world. And I mean, like, you can go back to 2010 when they were doing the WWE Monday Night Raw guest host. One of the first guest hosts, and I know that they put this together sort of spur of the moment, trying to get celebrities, knowing that you were going to be able to bring in big names, trying to a television show is launching a new season, a movie is coming out. Maybe you get like a singer who has a CD coming out, and they want to use Monday Night Raw and the millions of people that watch this show as a way to sort of get on television and sort of be able to promote their stuff and at the same time give WWE a kick in the pants with bringing in a major celebrity. But during this, I believe it was the second, it might even have been the third week of the Raw, Monday Night Raw guest GMs, ZZ Top, fresh out of the 80s. I'm a big ZZ Top fan. I love their Greatest Hits CD. I don't think they had a hit single beyond 1988. I mean, like, it has been years and years, and I'm sure that ZZ Top, you know, they go out and they still tour and they do dates all around the country, and I'm sure lots of people show up, lots of people have fun, lots of people drink, but nobody in the world tuned in to watch Monday Night Raw because ZZ Top was on there. And I know that there are people inside of Vince's ear trying to tell him what is cool, what is hip, but I don't believe that Vince McMahon is in touch with what draws people to television. You could tell this honestly by watching Tough Enough. I think that, you know, with Tough Enough, you could tell that basically somebody got into Vince telling him, you know, what reality shows worked in the world. And, you know, he tried to take American Idol. He tried to take Big Brother. He tried to take Survivor. He tried to take, you know, a little bit of everything and merge them together. And what you found out is that this was almost turned into like a farce of a reality game show that was making fun of itself by the fact that you had 2 hosts, and then you had 3 judges, and then you also had 3 sort of judges that were trainers that were giving their thoughts to what was going on. It was just too much of everything, and it made where the major stars, whether it was Daniel Bryan, Hulk Hogan, Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, Paige, it made all of their parts a part of the show so small that they're there, but they don't really mean anything to the fact that they're going to be there. And on top of that, you're bringing in guest hosts or guests, I guess you can say, like John Cena made his debut to try and come back and pop the show. I honestly think that you look at NXT, and NXT has a winning way right now with, you know, only having Triple H as the figurehead. He's sort of the guy who picks, this is who we're going to bring in. He has the trainers at the Performance Center, and then they have one writer. One. That's it. Monday Night Raw has a roster of writers that's probably just as deep as the WWE roster is itself. We've got too many people in the room trying to get their you know, their things kicked in, and I'm sure there's tons of politics in that room where, you know, you're trying to help out your friend because, you know, they haven't got a idea through and you don't want your friend to lose their job or something like that, and you know, all sorts of other things that are going on inside of there at the time. And at the end of the day, you might have a winning script that actually gets churned into Vince McMahon. And, you know, they think that they've got fire on their hands and they're going to be bringing in ratings like crazy. And then all of a sudden, Vince gets this whim that, you know, basically last week's Raw wasn't that good of a show. And even though he hires and employs all of these 26 writers, he just gets his red pen and just starts crossing things out and writing things in his own. Vince McMahon, back in the 80s, even in the early 90s, when he would sit in his backyard and it would be Vince and Pat Patterson, and they would basically book the territory. You go back and you watch the 80s, you go watch the early 90s, everyone had a direction on where they were going. It didn't matter if you were Hulk Hogan, King Kong Bundy, Hillbilly Jim. I'm trying to think of somebody that was way low on the list, but everybody that was in WWE always had a sense of direction. Everybody always had a feud. Everybody always meant something. And I mean, like, if you turn on Monday Night Raw, you can definitely tell that WWE cares about John Cena. They care about Randy Orton. You care about Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose. Well, Seth Rollins might be a little bit higher. I missed him. The New Day, and then almost everybody else down. Doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if they sell shirts. Doesn't matter if they're the best workers in the world. It doesn't matter if, you know, they're connected with the fans. All 3 of those things that I just brought up are all very well connected to Cesaro. And this isn't a video trying to say, like, Vince, please push Cesaro. Everyone knows that Cesaro is a great wrestler. Everybody knows that Cesaro has a great spot on the show. Everybody knows that Cesaro's spot on the show should be a lot greater. I mean, easily, when he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30. Everyone thought that that was going to be one of the biggest things. I am, how old am I? It's 19. Oh, hold on. What did I do? I just screwed myself up. I think I'm 34. I'm somewhere in there. I've been watching wrestling for at least probably 30 years. Yes, probably like when I was 4, 5, 6, and 7. You know, wrestling wasn't the biggest thing on my plate, but I've been watching wrestling for a long damn time. I can't say that I'm going to stop watching wrestling, because no matter what I do, wrestling is always going to be a part of my life. And, you know, Vince McMahon, he bought this company from his father. He owns it. There are stockholders who invested in this company, and if he wants to take this like a huge plane and just drive it into the side of the mountain and kill it, it's his creation. And you know what? What I've learned from professional wrestling is that even if WWE dies due to its own, you know, inflicting the NWO or something like that into it, someone else is going to come along, because all of these guys that we're connected with, it doesn't matter if it's John Cena, Randy Orton, Bo Dallas, you know, I'm trying to think of lower guys. It doesn't matter. These guys are going to find jobs. These guys are going to go somewhere, and someone's going to be able to polish these guys up. Just look at Bound for Glory. I mean, there's not a lot of people talking about TNA, but their main event of Bound for Glory, which is TNA's WrestleMania, is Drew McIntyre against, I can't remember this guy's name, and I've looked it up twice. I can't remember what his name was in WWE. Aaron Carter III. I mean, these are two guys that didn't make it in WWE for one reason or another, and now they're, you know, killing it for this other company that nobody's really watching. You know, there's always going to be life. It's always going to be going along. I don't think WWE is going to die today. I don't think it's going to die tomorrow. I don't think it's going to die a year from now. But definitely, you know, easily, WrestleMania 30 would have been a good stopping point for Vince McMahon. Vince needs to sit down, and Vince needs to think about, you know, what is the age that he is going to retire? What is the age that he's actually going to pass the baton to Stephanie and to Triple H and put them in charge? Like I said earlier, I understand that there's things that go around that, you know, maybe 1,000, you know, people will, you know, pull their investments in WWE. They'll sell their stocks because they don't believe that a meathead, a former wrestler like Triple H, can guide the ship like Vince McMahon has. But honestly, if you look at the success of NXT, it's almost like less is more with NXT, and it works. And I think that honestly they need to start applying that to WWE, because just by bringing the NXT people up to the main roster, which a lot of people have been looking for, I don't want to say that Kevin Owens hasn't been a success, because honestly they gave him the big match against John Cena, but if they didn't give him the John Cena match and he didn't win the Intercontinental Championship, which I want it to be a major accomplishment in his career, but honestly, if you think about what the Intercontinental Championship means, it doesn't have the feel of what it did years ago. So honestly, every single person that's come up from NXT, nobody's really been able to move the meter. The girls with the Divas Revolution, the first night that they came in with Sasha, with Charlotte, and with Becky Lynch, those three girls moved the radar. But then, honestly, the Divas division just kicked it right back to where the point it really didn't even matter anymore. Bo Dallas, Neville, the girls, Kevin Owens, all of these people that have come up to NXT, none of them have been able to make it better. You need to have the actual force that is pushing the WWE. You have to make that person the person that's going to be, you know, pushing these people to make these connections and bring fans into professional wrestling. That's what I'm looking forward to. So at this point, I'm not saying that Vince needs to die, Vince needs to be fired, Vince needs to be stripped from power. I'm just saying that Vince needs to find a point where he's going to say, you know what, we had a great run, I had a great company, you know, his career is legendary. You can't beat it. But he needs to be able to turn it over to somebody who's going to run it in the foreseeable future to hopefully make it bigger, hopefully make it better than it is today. Because honestly, at this point, I don't blame anybody for saying they don't want to be a professional wrestling fan anymore, because 3 hours on Monday Night Raw makes you want to go grab a rope and hang yourself in your garage. It's way too long, the show sucks, and there's nothing to really keep us interested week to week anymore. Thank you very much. Peace out, everybody.